and welcome to Beyond the Bio. Today I am joined by someone who doesn't just talk about potential, he helps people turn it into performance. Kamal Ellis-Hyman was named Peter Jones's National Entrepreneur of the Year. He's spoken to over 125,000 students, and his company, Aim a Little Higher, works with global brands like HSBC, Goldman Sachs, and Siemens Energy. Kamal even opened Atomicon last year, and maybe this year as well, did you?
Yeah, 2 in a row.
Wow, amazing. And in true personal branding style, he pitched to come on this podcast by sending me a mocked up episode thumbnail with his face on it. That alone told me that he understands how to stand out. So we're going to be diving into his potential to performance framework, his journey from bowling alley shifts to building a 6-figure business with his wife, and of course the role that his personal brand has played every step of the way. So Kamal, welcome to Beyond the Bio.
That's awesome to be here as a listener. It's nice to sit in this seat as well.
Sit in the seat, in the hot seat. Yeah, amazing. So as I said in that intro, you did pitch in a really different way, which I absolutely loved. So I have to start with talking about how you came up with that idea, because I get pitched a lot for Beyond the Bio now, and usually not very well, not very effectively. And I've spoken about that before on the show about how people can do that better. And yours was very, very original. So how did you come up with that approach? And what do you think it says about your personal brand?
Yeah, I feel like we're in such a busy time where there's so much going on. You get emails left, right and centre, LinkedIn, DMs all day long. And sometimes we fall into the trap of doing just enough and hoping that will be fine. And I thought, you're extremely busy. You are clearly a visual person. Like, your branding is it pops so much.
You know that now you're here in our studio.
Exactly. So I thought, if I'm going to do a pitch, rather than just, hey, I'd love to appear, here's what I could offer, I thought, I'm going to do all the hard work that comes with this process of having a podcast. I'm going to take your template, create the episode, give it a title, episode number, and then all the information I would like to give, I'm going to do it in the show notes kind of style with some key takeaways, so that the work is done for you and you're seeing the final product rather than pitching you an idea. And it went pretty well.
Yeah, I thought that was so fun. I really liked it. It made me smile, and it definitely stood out, because what I see often as a podcast host is people will apply, they will drop me a message, or if they filled out the form, that is more helpful. Although sometimes by filling out the guest form, they highlight the fact that they don't really know the show very well, or they'll get their PR people to fill it out. And again, they just give away the fact that they haven't really thought through how their topic fits with mine, and it's more around what they want to talk about, which is fine. It's a two-way thing. But you've got to do the research, and you've got to show that you understand the show. Otherwise, you're just not going to be interested.
Absolutely. And this is what we tell to the young people we work with. You're looking at these companies you want to apply for, or these businesses you want to be part of. Go and find out what they're about and make sure there's an alignment. Without alignment, you're just sort of shouting into the abyss, hoping that someone notices you. Whereas if you just take a little bit of time, listen to some episodes, find out what it's about, and then go in. And there's so much information online, you can find out so much about a company.
Exactly. So really, it's probably a bit of a less is more type approach, really, isn't it? Same with sort of job hunting, and that you spend the time researching the ones that you want to go on, in the case of applying for podcasts, and you make sure that you do a pitch that feels tailored and personal to them, so they're going to at least read it and be more interested in following up, rather than the scattergun approach.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Make the person feel as special as they deserve to be when you're going onto their platform. You mentioned Atomicon. I've opened Atomicon once virtually and twice in person, and they never repeat a concept. And the only reason I got to go and do it again is because after opening it last year, great feedback, and there's this literal conversation backstage where I said, that was great, guys. They're like, thank you. I'm like, same again next year. And they're like, we like to switch things up, so probably not, but this was awesome. And then I thought, okay, how would I pitch to do it again after having that conversation? They've clearly said no. So I did a whole pitch around the concept where the video that opened Atomicon was a Zoom call between us. saying, hey, last year was great, let's do it again. And they're like, oh, no. And it's up on screen, it's really awkward. Then I'll do this big journey of getting there, crawling through some mud, racing down the motorway.
So funny.
So I gave them that pitch, and they were like, Kamal, that's awesome. So the opening
That's
this
so
year
them.
was a Zoom call. Me taking the Tesla to a petrol station and trying to work out how it all works, crawling through mud, getting attacked by some atomic kitten joke backstage, and then coming out onto stage, covered in mud,
Brilliant.
ripped shirt, and then delivered a spoken word piece. And it
amazing.
went down really well.
Oh, I'm
It was a
so
game.
gutted I missed it. I would have absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, I had a clash. We'll talk about Atomicon, actually, because I've got a question for you about Atomicon. But first of all, you were named as Peter Jones's National Entrepreneur of the Year and featured in Lincolnshire's 30 Under 30. How have these accolades shaped the way that people perceive your brand? And how have you leveraged them without being defined by them?
Yeah, there's a really fine line to tread where you become that guy. And what I've always sort of managed to do is figure out who you are and be really clear about it. One of the key things we see as people who stand out is clarity is important. So I've been really clear on who I am, what my principles are, and never deviate from those. So you put yourself first, your values first, and then follow with the accolades, rather than what a lot of people do is they make it the big shiny thing, the LinkedIn banner is Peter Jones, National Entrepreneur. You don't find out about those achievements until you read into my bio. When I do a speech, you find out about that maybe in one section after about 30 minutes where it's put in there. I don't like the leading with all of these accolades first. I like, here's who I am, here's the concepts, here's the frameworks. And by the way, I know this works because I was National Entrepreneur of the Year, I was 30 Under 30.
And did getting those accolades create any opportunities for you? Did you get anything off the back of them?
Yeah, I found the Peter Jones one especially.
Did you meet him? What's he like?
Yeah, I've met him a number of times. He is so humble, it's quite ridiculous.
Really?
I was so surprised.
Wow.
Number one, he's a giant. He is really
Yeah,
is
that would be
huge.
the one thing I would definitely expect. He looks huge.
But I did my pitch for my business. You know, I got through to the finals, final 8. We go to his head offices to the pitch. And I started with a spoken word piece. Because again, let's be creative. Let's make this pitch stand out. And at the end, he did like a rap that it reminded him of. And he had an event recently to celebrate his charity. And I did a speech there.
Oh, lovely.
And I literally said to him halfway through the speech, do you remember your rap? He was like, yeah. Grabs the mic.
No.
And I'm there with Peter Jones rapping at this event.
That is so cool.
He really is just one of the most humble people I've met, where there's no sort of big me, little you. He's just really down to earth, nice guy. So yeah, it was really cool to meet him, and he remembers you. You know, sometimes you meet someone again, you're like, hey, we met that one time.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, come on, how you doing?
Lovely.
And how's business? How's the education industry going? And
So
what's
very
going with the corporate?
genuine.
Yeah, really genuine. Great team as well. And yeah, I've got nothing but good things to...
So do you think his personality in real life matches what we see on Dragon's Den? Because I always think of him as being one of the more stern ones. I don't know whether
Yeah.
it's because he's been there longer or what.
I think when you see glimpses of his banter with like Tuka or his digs and jabs, and having seen them together, he loves Tuka. Like I think they're actually properly
Good
best friends. I think his personality is the same in those moments, where he's a bit more harsh down the line. Is probably what he's like in the boardroom and in those business conversations.
And you've
where-
got to have that edge in that. You
Yeah.
can't, just get by being fun all the time. You've
Yeah,
got to be a
this
bit
is it.
serious, haven't you? So,
This is it.
oh, well, that's good to hear that other side of him because I've never met him, and
Yeah.
that's good to know. Interesting.
Yeah, really cool guy.
Okay. So your company, Aim a Little Higher, bridges the gap between education and the professional world. How intentional have you been about positioning yourself and your brand as the connector between those two spaces?
It's been a really interesting journey because we started out for education, came out of education, became Youth MP for Peterborough. And
Did you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I left my A-levels halfway through
That's
because
cool.
the opportunity came to volunteer as Youth MP. Did it, went to a couple meetings, clearly wasn't being taken seriously. I was like, do you know what? I'll leave school and I'm going to turn up to everything. I'm going to be the first full-time Youth MP and I'm going to be
And
everywhere.
is a Youth MP aligned with a party or is it...
It
Neutral
thankfully
or?
is a position that has to be apolitical. You can't align with a party.
Right.
For that year, you are just about young people, no party alignments, which suited me down to the ground.
Yeah.
So you do that year, did it voluntary for the entire year full time, learned so much about the real world, but fell out of love with politics because it was so clear that everything's done in 4-year cycles. What can we do to get voted in? It didn't feel like you genuinely care. So I looked at that and went, I'm just going to go to the ground and actually deal with the challenges. So we started out in schools, helping students develop self-awareness, getting them ready for the real world, develop that clarity, the confidence, communication skills. And then a student went home, told their parent about our session. That parent worked at MBDA, brought us in to do some speeches for their young people. That went well. Another person's parent worked at Compare the Market. He heard about us, brought us in, and we went, oh, hold on. In our thinking, if we prepare them for the real world, they'll be fine. In reality, you can prepare them, but then there's such a huge leap from education to the world of work that they need us on the other side too. So we've been very deliberate of going, let's bridge that gap, offer services for education, but really dive into that business, corporate world, making sure that for that first year, they are good and develop the skills that they need. And that's been a really beautiful spot for us because we bring a very different energy to what can be a stale environment
Absolutely.
sometimes.
And you have spoken to over 125,000 students, which is an incredible reach. How do you balance being inspirational to young people with being credible to those corporate clients you have, like HSBC?
Yeah, that was something
Different audience.
Completely different audience. And it was something that I struggled with at first. And I realised it's mostly in my own head. We have pictures of people doing well in certain industries and we think, right, you've got to be as polished as them, as a professional as them. And then you forget that the reason people bring you in is because you're not them. Mm-hmm. They're available. Mm-hmm. They're bringing you in because you bring something fresh. So we actually just started a few gigs and went, let's just do our thing. Went in, delivered, got amazing feedback that said, do you know what, you really brought a fresh energy to what we do. You brought a fresh approach. These young people were really uptight, and then you came in and they just took a deep breath, and we got to see who they really are, and we love how you bring that out of them. And realised, actually, the things you need to entertain a room of 200 year 10s who don't want to be in the room, who have just had a telling off of how well they've got to be behaved this assembly, but then making that engaging, upbeat, those skills transfer into the corporate world where people come in really wanting to do well, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to come across like I don't know. I know I did a great interview, but I'm going to just sit back and be a little bit quiet to be safe. It really brings them out of their shells as well and go, do you know what, maybe I can be myself, even though I'm in Canary Wharf in a head office surrounded by suits and ties and a metal detector as I walked in.
I've been in that office.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's like more security than an airport.
Yeah, honestly. So you just automatically get a bit uptight as you walk in. So they place us there. We let them breathe and then take our unique approach. We deal with personal development. Companies are amazing at getting their commercial awareness up, amazing at training them on how to be great. We come in and do personal development because there's an assumption that personal development happens automatically, and it just doesn't. People are so busy in the weeds, doing the day-to-day, learning the new steps, trying to work out how to network, these are my friends, but these are my colleagues, what's the difference? Oh, it's all on me, there's no tutor behind me. They forget to stop and go, where was I? Where am I now? How have I developed? What skills have I used? And the personal development almost becomes something that fades away. So we get brought in and we make sure personal development is still a key part of that process. And that's how you accelerate a young person's journey from, hey, I've got some potential, to they're a high performer in your company.
So you mentioned earlier about opening Atomicon, which is a huge platform, and we've had Andrew and Pete on Beyond the Bio before, and they are absolute legends. How did you prepare for opening Atomicon, and what impact has it had afterwards?
So preparation for Atomicon is like preparation for nothing else because it's such a unique event. So for me, it was just about how do I create a piece, an opening that's relatable to an entrepreneur whilst also being really entertaining in that sort of Atomicon signature style. So it was completely understanding the brand, what are they about, how they come across, who's
How
going
would
to be
you
in the room.
describe their brand?
Man,
Certainly unique.
punchy,
Pineapple.
over the top, a little bit of cheese, definitely a little bit of cheese in there, but mostly it's just genuine. So when I did the pieces, the references I was making in it were all about the genuine struggles we have as entrepreneurs. What's it like sending out an email and hearing nothing back? There's a bit where I say, I sent a message out to the world. I stand on stage like that and got nothing back. And you hear people like go, yeah. Or people laughed at, I sent out this LinkedIn post and I got no DMs. So it's just, let's make it raw, let's make it honest, whilst also being entertaining. And that's why it hit really well. My favourite thing off the back of Atomicon has been just some great relationships with some entrepreneurs that I really respect and have been there as sort of almost a sounding board for me as well. There was a school down in Ipswich that I met there, and we've done some great work in their school since. And then
What was a school doing at Atomicon?
I know. I know.
It's so random.
She's just a really entrepreneurial individual. And outside of that, it's the relationships. Great relationship with Andrew and Pete. Robin Waite is another one, but with really good relationship.
He's been on this show as well?
Yeah, he's fantastic. His way of thinking is just second to none.
Prolific author?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm learning the power of that from you.
So you've developed the potential to performance framework. Beyond the model itself, how has creating a signature framework contributed to your brand authority?
You can fall into the trap of just being a great storyteller and just telling stories. And it's like, when Kamal comes in, he tells some great stories. Sophie comes in, some great stories. And it's not deep. Whereas when you sit and create some IP around your idea, it takes your authority to another level, because now you're not just telling stories. There's something attached to it. There's something deeper. There's something meaningful. And I noticed every time I put that framework up behind me in a presentation to the leadership teams, if I put that framework up in a pitch where I'm talking about where your young people are, there's instant like, oh yeah, I get it. I did a session at the ISE conference and I spoke for that framework.
Great.
And I'm having conversations even now, almost a year later, and they're going, that potential to performance step you spoke about, that really stuck with me. And you spoke about the dip, and I'm seeing that dip now. So let's talk about how we can help with the dip. So it's just even the language you use coming back and being remembered is really powerful, versus, it can really help your young people become better. It moves you from generic to an actual expert in your arena and in your field.
Yeah, I've spent quite a bit of time in America this year, and one of the things, the key thing coming across is how much we all need to get on board with AI, but we all know this. But the other thing, the light bulb moment I had from being in LA actually was around frameworks and how important it is to have one. So when you do get to the point where you do a book, will your book be potential to performance?
Exactly that.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it'll be potential performance. Unlocking the 4 stages of your young people's journey, and really how to accelerate that process.
Perfect. God, that's making me think even more you need to do this, because it all links. It
really does. It really does. And it also gives me clarity. It's been way easier to create a curriculum now, because I'm doing that curriculum against my own framework, and can now sit with a young person and go, stage 2. They're at stage 2. Nice. Here's what they need. Pull these levers and we can move them faster. It's made our work even more impactful. Okay,
so your story, picking up poo in a bowling alley to running a multiple 6-figure company, is a strong part of your narrative. Yeah. How do you decide how much of that personal story to share, and how do you weave it into your brand without it ever becoming overused?
Yeah, my pet peeve is
and
when...
Why was the poo in the bowling alley?
I'm in this bowling alley and I'm enjoying the job. I'm loving it for like the first 2 weeks. Right. And after that became a bit of a, the Monday morners where I've got work tomorrow. And one day I come in, manager looks a bit shocked. I said, what's happened? He's like, there's been an incident. It's like, hey, I'll help. What's gone on? And he's gone, this way. A customer's pooed on the floor. And I was like, oh.
Whereabouts was it on the floor? Was it on a bowling lane? Was it in the toilet?
Thankfully it was in the toilet.
Okay.
They just decided... No.
What's wrong with people?
But it starts this debate where I'm going, oh, actually, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, no, you need to. I don't want to. That's your job. I'm like, is it?
Is it?
'Cause
I mean, I haven't seen that in any
Yeah.
job description.
I sit on the reception and I dress up as the dinosaur.
Okay.
I host the kids' parties. I make sure the kids are having a great time. We're having a laugh. You're having a great bowl. The poo bit is new to me. And I went home, plain piece of paper, talent, skills, hobbies, education. I wrote down all my talents, all my skills, everything I enjoy, things I'd learnt from school, circled the top 3 and said, right, this is me. And started a business based off that. It was a street dance business that went really well for a little while. Then it failed because of bad maths. When you're selling lunchtime and after school clubs, there's only 10 slots. So you've instantly created a ceiling. So I went back to that piece of paper, reevaluated and realised, aim a little higher. I love people, I love speaking, I love seeing transformations. Let's try this. Found a company that I thought was doing it well, went and did an apprenticeship there. Not an official apprenticeship, just go and work for someone else, tell the boss your intentions, get a bit of mentorship, then launch Stay a Little Higher into the real world. So that's the journey. When it comes to putting your personal story out, my pet peeve is when you let it define you. And especially in the motivational speaking space, it's really easy to be remembered by, oh, you're the guy who, the poo, that's the story.
Your poo guy.
Yeah. So rather than lean in and become a victim of any circumstance, I'm more like, here's my framework and here's a personal story that backs up what I'm talking about. So that poo story will only come out when I'm talking about someone with potential or someone who's coasting. And then the different elements of your story go in different parts of your framework so that it complements, but it doesn't take over.
It's not a distraction.
Exactly. Make that your whole brand.
That makes sense. So working with your wife in the business must shape not just the company, but your brand as a duo. Yeah. How do you navigate that dynamic and make sure that both of your personal and joint brands are strong?
Yeah, it's a great question. I am just blessed with an amazing wife. So she's always been there with ideas of, oh, how come you do it like that? Because we think very differently. I'm the creative out there, we'll do this. She's the whoa.
But what about?
Practically, how does that work? What about this? She's the pay your tax bill today. I'm the give them £3 a month for 10 years. And so that comes together really well because we think so differently, but we respect each other's opinions so much. With regards to our individual brands, we lean into what we are good at. So she's gone to university, she's done the degree, she's got her master's in psychology. She worked she was head of UK sales for a tech company.
Amazing.
In her mid-20s, which is crazy. So when she goes and speaks on personal branding, how you come across, shooting for that high performance, she's got some real tangible evidence from that side of the world. Mine is entrepreneurial parents, market stalls when I was young, seeing it all on the ground, not someone who's gone to uni, got a degree, just started bootstrapped from 18, 19 years old. So you mix those together and we get this really cool opportunity to reach a whole room in very different ways. So you almost step back and let the person do their thing and constantly swap in and out when it makes the most sense.
Do you find that because you're married that you talk about work all the time, or are you quite disciplined around, right, no, we're focused on I mean, you've got 3 children, 3 young children.
3 daughters,
so, you, I guess they're going to be taking over your world a lot of the time anyway, but are you quite disciplined with how you blend things? Or?
No, not at all. I'm terrible. Eliza's much better than me at it. She's good at being like, right, this is time. Hey, Kamal, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just one email and you're with the... Okay, she's way better with it. I really struggle. And what I'm learning recently, and she's explained very clearly, I'm better off to just say, hey, for the next 2 hours, I'm going to go and do this, and go up to my office and disappear. Whereas what I was trying to do is...
Combine it.
Yeah. Oh, no, but I'm here with the kids. It's just one little email. I'll do the meeting on the kitchen table and the kids can... I'm around and realising that when you try and mix it all, you end up being not very good at the business, not very good at the dad, not very good at the husband. So I'm now learning, actually, do you know what? Wake up a bit earlier, do some work there, stay up a bit later when everyone's asleep, set this many hours, and then come down and be a bit more present. Yeah. So Yeah, definitely something I'm struggling with.
That's good advice for everyone, really. For any young professionals watching or listening, many of whom are going to be at the beginning of their own personal brand journeys, what's the first thing that you think they should focus on when trying to move from potential to performance in how they present themselves?
So there's 3 real big levers that you pull make a huge difference, and it's clarity, confidence, and communication. We have been robbed by all these tech advances, society moving forwards really quickly, where it sounds like it's wonderful, but they've deleted all these beautiful moments where you would have developed a skill. Self-checkouts mean we don't have to have these awkward conversations anymore. The parking machines where you type your individual license plate, and now we don't go, hey, I've got 20 minutes, do you want? And those little things. As a young person, you need to put yourself in a position to deliberately develop your communication skills, whether that's volunteering somewhere locally, getting yourselves a job in retail, a bowling alley, something where there's high volume of people and you have to get used to just speaking. It's going to be priceless for you. Clarity is taking a step back, closing TikTok, closing all your apps, and just going, what do I want? And a good way to do that is if you did an exercise where you put down 3 of your heroes, 3 people you really look up to, and strip back, what do you respect about these individuals? You'll start to find out a lot about yourself. So I realized I really respect effective communicators. I really respect people who are family oriented. I really respect people who've got their own business, like the guts to go, I'm going to do this myself. And that tells you loads about yourself. Why do you respect that? It's probably because it aligns with your values. So in order to get clarity on where you want to go, take a step back and don't be so passively consuming. Start asking yourself, why is this an interest? And when you just stop and ask yourself the question, you really get to map out who you are and what you're about. Then you move forward with deliberate action towards opportunities that align with you, rather than I'm going to apply for 500 and see what happens. So I'd start with get yourself in a place where you are going to have to communicate. Have a club that you enjoy. Have a club that's way out of your reach. That's just a challenge. I started boxing a couple of years ago because I needed to go and be the worst in the room at something. So I went boxing, and it was a very humbling experience. But the journey of being terrible to becoming much better, that's what I do as a young person right now. Get some clarity, do something new to build your confidence, you get used to that process, and put yourself into environments where you have to communicate. Those 3 things are going to make you stand out far above the average young person right now.
That is such great advice for so many reasons. And we've been doing quite a bit of recruitment recently at Mojo. And one of the things that I speak to our ops director about a lot is work experience for younger people, and we love it when we see someone up with their CV who's done. It's not necessarily just about the skills that they bring for the role. We love it if we see someone that's worked in retail or hospitality, because we know their communication skills have got to be strong. We know they can multitask. We know they can work under pressure. Then we know they can work as a team. So we actually really prioritise that. Because,
it's real.
It's good advice. Finally, if your personal brand had a tagline right now, something that sums up where you are, what you stand for, what would it be?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I feel like I named the company after it almost, where I called it Aim a Little Higher. So I would say Aim a Little Higher, or I'd say Bridge the Gap, because we exist to take young people from this place where they're having potential through to that second stage where they're coasting and they're just taking it easy. And we've all had those young people work with us where you're like, you can do so much more. And they're technically not wrong because they're doing the job description, but they're coasting and they're no longer trying to become better. They're just taking it easy. And you push them to being better, which is better than they've ever been, better than most. So you're happy with this person, but that final bit is high performance, where you're reliable. You produce results, you use initiative. I ask you to do task A, you've thought of the context of task A and what B and C is going to look like, and you've come back going, here you go.
I want to hire that person.
Right?
Yeah.
You get hired, you stay, and you get promoted, because now I don't want to lose you. So whatever that looks like to keep you here, we're going to make that happen. We gave our first just random bonus out this year. We'd never done that before. But this person was so good, so on the ball, so flexible when things went wrong. They fixed the problem. They're just reporting to me, hey, there was a problem. So here's what I did. And you're like, okay, cool. Yep, I approve. I mean, you've done it. So great. And it was like, we've got to do something. And gave our first bonus out that we've ever given as a company, because when it's there, you just want to nurture it, look after it, keep it. So it's super, super powerful. And that's all about bridging the gap between your potential and your performance. So I'd say
love it.
Bridge the gap.
Love it. If anyone watching or listening hasn't come across you before, and this is the first time that they are meeting you,
yes.
Where's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, well, pleasure to meet you. Over at LinkedIn is the best place. Cool. It's Kamal Ellis-Hyman. Got a big smiley face and an orange background. You can't miss me. Drop us a DM and we can have a chat. We've finally designed this audit for companies, actually, where if you hire young people, we've created an audit that will show you if you're lagging, developing, or like high flying. We'll give you a personalised report back of a few things you can do to tweak it and get even better.
Amazing.
And that's literally my LinkedIn feature profile. One click. Takes about 12 minutes.
Super useful for so many people. Well, we'll pop a link to your LinkedIn profile in the show notes to make that super easy for people to connect. Kamal, thank you.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening. If you're serious about growing your profile, take our free profile assessment quiz to see where you're at right now and get hints and tips on how to improve your score. You'll find the link to the quiz in the show notes. If you've enjoyed the episode, it would be mint if you'd subscribe, like, and leave a review. See you next Monday.